The H plus program walks a very fine line in human consciousness, and that line was brought out this morning by Bob in the difference between believing something, which is kind of an intellectual concept, and knowing something, which is some sort of a deeper concept. You don't need a set of reasons. You don't need a set of facts. When someone comes up to you and says, well, why is this so? And you give them, well, it's so because of A, B, C, and D. When you know something, you look at them blank-faced and say, what do you mean? It's just that way. I know it's that way. Well, H plus tries to walk that fine line. What makes H plus work is Bob's discovery of a hemisync pattern that uses 4 mixed and layered binaural beats to access a specific brain function that allows us to program some of our belief systems so that we can capture this magic knowingness rather than I just believe it is so. Joe Pierce, who is a person who lives around here, and I'm sure some of you have read Cracking the Cosmic Egg, speaks of a father who was mad because his son had injured his arm, and he was so mad he shouted at the arm, "Stop that bleeding!" And it did. Well, he had gone beyond that magic little step, beyond just believing something is possible, to being so sure that it was going to happen that it did. With H+, we're going to try to walk that fine line, allow each of us individually to access those reality systems which would benefit us personally. We're going to do this with the hemisync process, although there are many self-improvement programs that try and push against the same problems of the barriers. During the break, I got into discussion with a couple of people about the thing that you brought up. Are we cheating the system? Aren't we supposed to be here to learn and run the rough life and get beaten up on the way and then finally escape and say, "Whew, boy, was that a trip." You know, it's not really supposed to be easy or something. Maybe that's because we believe it's not supposed to be easy. These things that don't give us freedom, don't give us the control, these little programs that we pick up on life's journey. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to say, you know, for the last 40 years I've been thinking about this problem, and it seems funny to me that I should have to follow that rule. That was really a stupid idea to think that that was important, and why am I subject to that? Wouldn't it be nice to have the ability to set that aside, to say, I've decided after much thought that that rule, the way I see reality is having to follow that rule, just really doesn't benefit me as a human being. I could become more than what I am if I could just figure out how to set that aside. H+ tries to allow an access channel to consciousness where you can do that, where you can gain the ability to set aside a specific rule or new ones. Same way instantaneous healing takes place with the guy shouting at the arm, "Stop bleeding." Well, there's certainly a reality system that's accessible, but you have to do more than believe it. You have to know it. You have to do more than believe what I'm saying is true. You have to know that what I'm saying is true. I brought my brain with me. And least you think I'm a reductionist in that I believe that I am my brain. You know, you've heard of right and left halves. I just carry an extra one, see? I kind of like to think of the analogy of this is a camera. We see reality through this camera. I am not this camera, but I see reality through this camera. And this camera has several capabilities. Motor nerve functions down here, and inside we got some emotions down here, and we got some thinking processes going on up here. And all those things in this camera, just like we change lenses and change focuses and put different filters on and different films inside the camera, allow us to perceive reality. But reality is a flexible thing, because each one of you has a different one of these inside that bone up here. And each one of you has a different reality set. We all agree we're sitting in this room here. But there is a different reality set for each one of us. That worries me, because I think I might be missing something that he sees in his reality. And boy, that guy back there, he must have some really neat things. So wouldn't it be nice to be able to open up my horizons, to be able to modify and change at will, not just subject to the patterns of life that I grew up with, and see the world from your perspective and say, gee, I never realized that. That's really an interesting way to look at it, or an interesting perception. And I can become more of a person by my ability to be flexible and move around in my perspective of reality. That's the same flexibility that we hope H plus can give us. The ability to control our perceptions of reality and what's going on around us. Hi.
I just wanted to know if you also own the ribbon store?
Yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. This is just teasing Leslie, because Leslie and I are good friends here. And it seemed like if you had a lot of ribbons, you were an important person. So I went out and got myself a lot of ribbons.